Alright, I think that's good. Hey. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Listen, okay, I'm just gonna go right to it. Today I'm gonna be in Matthew chapter 5, and I want to read verse 13 of Matthew chapter 5. Again, this video is gonna be one of those videos where I focus on one verse or something, and I just give, like, talk about what that verse is, what the, the good stuff about that verse. So Matthew chapter 5 verse 13 says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot." In this passage, this is the part of Matthew where Jesus is giving the Sermon on the Mount. He's talking to all of his disciples, not just the apostles. So this includes those of us who call ourselves Christians because we are his disciples. And this is the part where Jesus is talking to all his disciples, and he says something about salt. Now, salt back in this time was a pretty valuable thing. The Roman soldiers would get paid as wages in salt. The Greeks considered salt to be divine, and in the Mosaic law, required that all offerings presented by the Israelites contain salt, as it says in Leviticus chapter 2, verse 13. But also, now I think this is what Jesus meant when he referred to us as being the salt of this earth, is that salt was used as a preservative. What does that mean? It means that obviously back in that time they didn't have refrigerators or freezers or anything, so they would put whatever food, for example meat, that would go bad pretty quickly, into this salt, and the salt was used to preserve the meat. So that's what I think is Jesus referring to in this passage. It's spiritual. That was like what salt was used for and all that stuff. And now the spiritual meaning behind it is that we, God's people, are his preserving agents for a world that is corrupted and degenerating because of sin. We are the salt of this world. Just like salt is to the food, just like salt was to that piece of meat, we are to the world. Our task is to keep our lives pure so that we might salt the earth and hold back corruption so that the gospel can get out. But unfortunately, some of us Christians are kind of like, those laid back Christians, or we call ourselves Christians, or we're not even Christians. We're being just a hearer of the word and not being a doer of the word. We're not sharing and showing the word. And that is a way of not being salt in the earth. That's a way of losing your saltiness. And another way of losing your saltiness is not being in the correct fellowship, in a good, solid relationship with Jesus. And if we're not in that right relationship with Jesus, Jesus says that we are like salt that has lost its saltiness and is therefore, as verse 13 says, good for nothing except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot, as I'm reading NIV version. But then how do we test our saltiness? The evidence that we have been used by God as preserving agents is that things are becoming spiritually better around us and not worse. So that is what it means. That is what Jesus meant in that passage when he said that we, his disciples, are the salt of the earth. We're his preserving agents of this world to keep it from deteriorating and being corrupting more into sin and engulfing itself more into sin. So, and by the way, sorry if I sound kind of weird. I just got better from being a little bit sick and with a sore throat and stuff. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, comment, subscribe, share this video with somebody. Comment below any verses that you guys would like me to say or whatever, to make a video about. And I would love to study those verses and make a video about them. What else? I said comment, like this video, and that's it. Well, thank you. Thank you. And yeah, stay tuned for more to come. And by the way, a little sneak peek, next video it will be on being the light, which is the next two verses. No, the next 3 verses after this verse. So stay tuned for that video. And thank you guys for watching this. And remember, go share and show the word.
7 hours later.
Oh, I remember. And if I forgot any other notes, I'll leave them back down in the description below. So make sure you guys go click down in the description below. And yeah, now I'm done. Go share and show the word, guys.